So come on in, take a sip, let's wind down. My name is Christopher and I'm delighted you are here to solve this grid with me. But first, let's pour some wine. And today we're indulging in a 2023 Silvaner Trocken, and this is from the Schorneich group. It's a family group, the von Schorneich family of Winters, and it's a Silvaner. And it's got your typical, your citrus and green apple notes. A hint of some golden apples there. A very acidic finish. Very clean, delicious. The flavors on the palate, I would more associate with the green, maybe golden apples. Just a touch of the citrus there, but a very, very clean finish, very refreshing. And it would be fabulous with like brunch, but a spicy brunch at that. That would be so good. You can feel the gas bubbles too. There's a slight light gas in it too, so which is typical, right? But it's just a wonderful little white wine. I saw it, I bought a couple bottles, and I had my first glass of it last night, as you may have noticed from the video. There was a little bit gone already, but I had it as a nightcap, and I tell you what, I was just as pleased. And today, with the exposure of just a little bit more oxygen, it is just right. And we call this wind down, but we're not going to spend all of our time winding down. Let's go ahead and hop into our grid and see what we got here today. So looks like we got a Peter Gorman construction edited by the great Will Short. So let's go ahead and hop on in and see what we got. I'm always excited about Thursdays because Thursday's the day. This is the day that you begin the more circuitous grids, right? The more challenging ones, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they get incrementally harder. And then Sunday's always that crapshoot. Is it gonna be hard? Is it gonna be easy? It's always fun to find out. So past its glory. Character profile. All right. Don't have blank, man. Well, maybe I have a cow. It's a place to start. We've always got a place to start there. So past its glory could be faded. Let's check ourselves though. Man, round windows. Okay, probably oculi. Love that word. And so the character profile, I wasn't even thinking this a while ago. That's fantastic. So a font, nice, hidden in there. You know, I'm always impressed when people know the difference between a font and a typeface. You know, as a former, advertising guy, designer, art director, creative director eventually. Network connections, nodes. I always like to think of fonts and typefaces is like, MP3s and then the MP3 player itself. But that's a really old analogy. No one even knows what an MP3 is anymore, I don't think. So it is. So man must be a dude. This clue. Ferrante, author of the Neapolitan novels. And I think this is Elena. I haven't read, but read about her. Digital work fueled by machine learning in brief. See this cropping up a lot. This is like the second or third time in a week that I've seen AI art come in. If it's not AI art, I will stand corrected, but it just seems to be exactly what it is. Clear cut, could be distinct. And don't get me wrong, I do hope to stand corrected. Just doubt that I will. Go ahead could be a nod. I'm liking this. This is a nice, crisp, clean, kind of like my wine. Fantastic Thursday. We got Yao Ming. And I think he used to play for the Mavericks. What a budding musical artist hopes to land. Well, I'm going to go with a record deal. Because I know that's what I would have wanted to land had I been a budding musical artist. Well, wait a minute, I was. I never got one. But I never put the band together. I never made it a serious attempt, so it's kind of on me, Who said a dress is a piece of ephemeral architecture, and that would be Christian Dior. Big fan. tats could be ink. And one last check here. That's gonna be too long. Don't know. Friendly response after my, so probably from the French, mon plaisir, my pleasure. And let's see what we got up here. Let me close this out up here. Say yes, say. Stretch could be a stint. And that tells me up here we have a response, s'il vous plaît. Fantastic. Rooftop spinner could be a vane. My father-in-law loved those things. He loved weather vanes. And just like church steeples and stuff like that. I really wish that he could have seen Germany. No, I think he would have loved it. And the quality of building, I mean, he was an engineer type and made everything by his own hands. He could fix anything. I think he'd be astonished at the quality of the homes and the apartments and the buildings they create here. I mean, they're not for life. They're for eternity, you know. I mean, my whole flat, every wall is like, I think, about 1.5 feet of concrete. You're not hearing anything, and you're certainly not putting nails in walls. Everything gets stuck to the wall with that sticky tape, right? I mean, everything. Lynchian, Fellini-esque, and I guess cinematic be my guess. Let's just check it at the end. Any social posts, maybe? How about pics? Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, zeros on the clock. Maybe a start time. So I guess this could be Snap. Ah, Snap. That's old. Enemy alliance of World War II would probably be the Axis powers. And move after a touchdown. Nice, so it didn't involve a yellow cab or anything. We're going to taxi on out or in. Let's see, alliance of 32 nations would be NATO. And this says this clue is 21 across, but it's 20 across. Well, that's an interesting thing. These are not typos. The New York Times does not produce typos in their grids, so that I've ever seen. Exam with a max score of 528 would be the Med College Aptitude Test, so the MCAT, and let's see, shelter on a tropical island. We'll just ask Gilligan. You live in a hut. Home to many kings and queens. I have no idea. Let's just go see if we get something figured out here. Probably got bas relief. So I was in officer candidate school. I think I was in phase 2. So it was still just a big bowl of suck that you had to eat every day on about an hour of sleep. It was like 97 straight days of just awful. Weeding people out left and right. People ringing the bell and just going back to whatever they did in the Army before. Like, this is just not for me kind of a thing. And I was brand new in the Army. I was just trying to get through. And I remember we were having our apartments. You know, we lived to an apartment in this like apartment building, but it was, well, it wasn't great, but it was at least your own apartment. There was 2 of us in there, and we were told that Captain Pelican was coming around for the inspection. So I was already good to go because I'm OCD. I always pack everything away. Everything's folded where it's supposed to be at all times. I mean, I'm just that guy. So I'm kind of chilling, waiting for Captain Pelican to come down the hall. And my roommate's going nuts, by the way. He was just like running around. Oh my God, I gotta fold this and I gotta do this. And he's just, he's freaking out. And he should have been. I kept saying to myself, do not say a tin hut. Do not say a tin hut. I want you to say room, a tin hut. I want it to sound loud and proud. I want it to be real. Don't do that whole tin hut, because that's not cool, right? Sure enough, I'm thinking about it so much, and I'm standing by the door, and then I see Captain Pelican coming, and I stand at attention, and I say, make ready. So my roommate's like dropping his crap, and he's like, oh no. And Captain Pelican walks in, and I said, room 10 hut. And I could not believe that came out of my mouth. It was supposed to be like, room 10 hut. Something manly, right? Something army, something whatever, 2002 era, And he looked at me and he goes, a tin hut? Is that what you live in, son? I tell you what, instead of regaling me with the intricacies of Southern architecture, why don't you call this room to attention instead? Never forget that. Every line memorized, etched in my mind. Worst part is I had prepared not to do what I did. It was awful. Sir, candidate Combest. Yes, sir. The sir sandwich. Oh my God. It was craziness. Sensational on Broadway. I think that would be Boffo, but I could be wrong. Don't give me the line about it. Don't know yet. Let's see. Subreddits could be Fora. This answer. No idea. Ancient Mexican civilization. We're probably talking Olmec. Queen Elizabeth I has one named after her. That's right. In fact, my major in undergraduate was Elizabethan poetry. Blue Man group member, question mark. So we got ourselves a Smurf here. And I don't know what that is over there, but we're probably going to figure this out soon. Icy could be aloof. So got something off, but so far looks good. This answer... is it 14 something, right? Visual storefront in an online marketplace. And if it's an E, let's see if this is a T. An alternative to a spicy Dorito, I guess, would be a Taki. And so this is probably an Etsy something. Got DSL here, DSL. Thank you, Christopher. Chatted on the gram, maybe DM'd. Singer Winehouse Amy. Okay, architectural expansion and annex. Has anyone ever seen an annex that warranted such a descriptive as architectural? I mean, by definition, you build anything, I guess it's architectural, but I've never seen an annex that looked all that. I don't know. Small things here. I'll shut up. Certain tax. This crossword. Don't know. Texas City, once known as Six Shooter Junction. And I would not mind being stationed in Waco, Texas. Maybe as one of the senior hospital administrators there for the VA or something like that. I would like that very much because they have a flight school there. I think it's Central Texas College or something like that. And you can go for 4 years just part-time and you can come out a commercial pilot. And I don't want to be a commercial pilot, but I would love to have a license that said I could fly a 747. I just love that. I don't know. Maybe I'll get stationed there. I guarantee you I'll do it if I do. So, black gemstone, probably an onyx. That was actually the very first stud earring I got was set in sterling silver, and it was an onyx. Pearl, if you will, beautiful. I loved it. Shamrock Land Aaron. And used as a source could be to cite. And so maybe we're talking about a duty. Let's see. Blank Roy, Booker Prize winning author 97. I think that's Aaron Hati. So this must be an Etsy shop. Makes sense all the way around. As this says, this crossword is a Wednesday. We'll check the day part, but it looks like Wednesday to me. San Mateo. I don't ever want to get too ahead of myself. My wife says, look, if you guess it, just go with it because you're almost 100% right? Well, I get it, but... Only character shown in the final 30 minutes of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Well, I wouldn't touch that if I were you, Dave. And Peon is making his way into the grid. Hotspot must be an oven. And home to many kings and queens. Now that, okay, Peter Gorman, this takes the cake. I'm absolutely loving this. I'm loving your puzzle. I'm thinking this is just a fabulous Thursday. Oh my Lord, this has been great. Slated to be delivered on, maybe due. Strike collar could be an ump. Mamma Mia. And 9 Daughters of Greek Myth. And I think these are the muses. I know they are, but is that the answer is the question. Though I do believe they hijacked that title from the previous muses. Just my opinion. I don't know. If you have a different opinion, please share. Look down on Olmec. Follower of the 32. It'd be helpful if I read the grid, the clue, right? So, yeah, this would be the Aztecs, I suppose. So, look down on. That's not coming to me at all. Like an H.P. Lovecraft work, and I'm going to go with Erie. Locale depicted in Bosch's The Garden of Earthly Delights, and I do believe we're talking about Eden here. And look down on, perhaps it was to scorn. Okay. Hideaway could be a lair. No, we don't have extremely challenging fill in this grid, but it's just so cleverly done. I'm absolutely loving it, every bit of it. Ending with home or bed. The zip is 0. So, and I guess this crossword is a Wednesday puzzle. It's clearly a Thursday. Interesting. Now, but I have a question though. I'm dead serious. Has anyone ever heard of a bedstead? A homestead I've heard of. Clearly, I've claimed that tax exemption in the past. I mean, I've owned a lot of homes, but bedstead? I just don't think I'm familiar with this phrase at all whatsoever. Or this term, if it's one word, I just don't know. I'd like to know if anybody else either knows or hasn't ever heard of it before either. Am I an anomaly? That's typically the case. Throw with great effort, maybe to heave. So I always associate that with grossness. So this is probably 14 letters, though I know for a fact it's 15. So, okay, we'll check it, but I'm not sure what's going on. 21 across is actually 20. There are 15 letters across, it's standard grid, right? But we've got 14 for this, and then it says the Wednesday puzzle. So, cleared one's plate. Here come the hiccups. High pair could be aces. 2 of spades. Okay, I think these are S's. I normally hate it when I see these kinds of clue answer combinations, but I have to tell you that was pretty clever. 2 of spades. I mean, I like that. With 3 across, something never to be repeated, or a hint to the answers in the italicized clues. 1 off. Got it. Now I'm tracking the theme. Okay, was it making sense at first? Setting for several Herman Melville works. I guess we're talking about the ocean. It would be better if it was the sea, though, but I'm sure that was impossible. Pluck could be nerve. Battle Toads console. I don't know, but console tells me NES. And I hope I didn't fat finger anything. Please don't let me have fat fingered anything. And why didn't y'all yell at me if you saw something? How do we do, Bob? Well, this was a fabulous grid, and I don't think I've ever finished a puzzle in just a dot even time like that before in my entire existence. That's pretty cool. I'm digging that like you wouldn't believe. Okay, Peter Gorman, fabulous grid. This was just really, really well constructed. I loved it all the way around, and I've got to tell you, I have just an absolute hatred for when we spell out an S or a C or a D or something like that, the D-E-E, for, poor grade or something, a D, kind of a thing. I always hated that. But two of spades, it was cool. And if I hadn't had what I had in the center, I'd have been stuck on that for a bit. Like, what could that be? Which is exactly what I think you wanted to shoot for there. And so, again, my hat's off to the setter. Here. Bravo, Peter Gorman. Very well done. We'll go ahead and bring down our Benny and we'll call this to a close. Thank you again so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure for me to solve this grid and share some wine and hang out and maybe even tell a boring story from Officer Candidate School. I honestly don't ever stand around thinking about stories in the Army. It rarely crosses my mind, actually, but when something like that comes across, then it just evokes a certain memories. So I think it's pretty fun. Until we see you tomorrow for the Friday grid and the penultimate day in my pantheon of puzzle days, right? I cannot wait to do that, but I love the Fridays and Saturday grids. Ich wünsche Ihnen einen schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Servus. Grüß Gott. Ciao. Cin-Cin. We will see you on the morrow. Until then, be good to yourselves. Be great to your friends, your families. Be nice to your neighbors, of course, but be especially kind to the person behind you in the queue. Be well out there. Take care.